That's amazing because so many people don't realize that it does start from the beginning.
Yeah,
and I identify with you because I had a show before about bullying, but like bullying was one of the biggest things in my life. I mean, from step footing on the school bus till around 10th, 11th grade, it was just, and by that time I was in my own world and I was like, you know what, you're not going to continue to put me down, you know. But for that long period of time, even now, I find myself slipping back into that mindset of, well, I'm not good enough. Just last week I had a issue with one of my friends and we just couldn't get it together, you know. And for me, I try to be this quote unquote perfect person, so that way I can, you know, I guess do things without feeling guilty, or you know, take away from my flaws and be like, you know what, that's fine. Or but it all stems from being bullied, and I had to own up to it. Like, you know, I'm sorry. You know, some things from the past, even though it's 20 years or 15, 20 years,
still haunts you.
It still haunts you.
Still haunts you.
Those years are the most important years that you can have. You know, childhood is so instrumental to the person you're going to become.
Yes, it is.
So I cannot imagine, you know, being bullied, losing a parent, learning to just adjust to life itself and still be a child. So yeah, I can imagine. And it took that many years.
That many years. And the 17 years is the adult years.
Right.
That's not including, you know,
the
childhood growing up. That's the adult years living on my own and battling life's ups and downs by itself.
And that in itself is...
And trying to, you know how you said... You want to be the perfect person, me, so to speak, trying to please everybody. That right there will push you in a depression, too, because you can't please everybody. And it's so much. And that's one of the main things that I scream in Girls to Women is so important to me, because people don't realize the different things in life can push you into it. Yes, there are some where mental health is an hereditary disease, but it's also a disease that something can push you down into it, like different forms of abuse. Or, you know, there are a lot of children out here who are longing to be hugged, who are longing to feel love, and they're not feeling that from their family members. And it's pushing them really, really bad, you know, where they're getting depressed and they're getting angry. And not only are they hurting themselves, they're hurting other people. They're committing suicide. You have some children that are killing other children. They're angry, and people just looking at them like, oh, they crazy. No. There is something wrong. And that's why Girls to Women is like, what can we do to try to help? I know I can't save the world, but if I can run around and scream the awareness to put a stomp in the stigma, then that's just what I want to do, because I don't want any of the children to feel the way I felt growing up. And then I don't want any adult that's suffering from it to continue to suffer in silence. Because my family around me didn't even know that this is what I was suffering from. They just thought I just had an attitude, or I wasn't going to any type of family functions. I really wasn't going to no family functions. I was staying home. I just didn't want to interact, but it really wasn't anything personal against anybody else. It's that dark cloud that's over you that you can't shake it off. I mean, I had jet black curtains in my windows for years. Would not open up the blinds or anything. It was just that powerful. And I knew the source of it, but I didn't want to accept it. And that's one of the main things.
You're speaking through my mind.
Yes, you have to accept the source. Once you accept the source, that's when you're on your way to healing. And people don't realize that. Accepting the source and knowing your triggers. That is so important when you're dealing with things like that. And once it took me 17 years to figure out that this is definitely the source. And once I accepted it, I made change, because I walked in my daughter's room and I was reading her diary. And she wrote in her diary that she thought I was in the bed dead because I wasn't moving and I hadn't moved all day. She didn't know that it was the medication. All she saw was her mother laying there. And that was like, as a mother, heart crushing is an understatement for what that. Every time I talk about it, it makes me cry, because it's just, you talk about your children. It's like you mentally check out on your children, and it's something that you can't help. So it's like all those years that I've lost, you got to take a stand somehow.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, I can't lose any more years because I lost the rest of my mother's years. She's gone. She's never coming back. Yeah. I don't want my child to have that memory. And that's when I had to stand up and accept my source. And that's when I was blessed to come out of it.
I love that. And one thing you said that I really want to touch on is the fact that people see children as the bad child, or you just have an attitude or anything else. My thing is, if you see that, there's a reason for it. Children are innocent, you know, unless some sicko has some issues. But, like, children are innocent, and they become adults. So if you don't stop it then or see what the cause is, you're creating this situation of this prolapse of everything becoming an adult. Like, it happens in their childhood, then it comes over to adulthood, and then it spreads, and then they have children, and then the system, it just keeps going.
It just keeps
going and going and going. And so that's important for people like you who have organizations to stop it before it gets to that point, especially communicating. And like we talked about it before, in the Black community, it's so hard to speak about mental illness.
It is.
It's seen as a weakness. It's seen as a character flaw, or it's just something that it's just part of the family.
Right.
You know, and you keep that hush hush.
You keep hush
keep
hush.
it moving.
You stand up. You be a woman. You know, that's what you say. Oh, your nerves is bad, or you got to be a woman about it.
It's just your personality. You know?
Yeah, I done heard it all. I heard you doing that to yourself. When I used to have them anxiety attacks, I had an anxiety attack so bad I passed out in the bathroom. When I woke up, I was in the hospital.
Wow.
I sure was. And I was told, you doing that to yourself. And that thing that really gets me about that is if you know anything about anxiety, you know you would not do that to yourself because you can die from an anxiety attack. People don't realize how deadly an anxiety attack is. An anxiety attack can stop your heart. That's how the fear is. It's just making you rush. So I've heard it all. Oh, you just want attention. All of that. I've heard, oh, she acting crazy. Well, you don't seem like nothing is mentally wrong. I'm telling you, I've heard it all.
I can imagine.
I've heard it all. But, you know, no one knew what I was going through. And because I heard it all, I was more afraid to say something. I was more afraid. I didn't want to hear the stigma. I didn't want to be, you know, be characterized like that. So I just kept it in. And the more you keep it in, it's poison.
Yes.
It's like
it's going to be. It doesn't go away.
It does not go away. It's a build up. It just keeps building and building and building and to the big show. And then once it happens, boom, there it go. And then sometimes it leads people to suicide.
It does.
Or, you know, or hurting somebody else and stuff like that. And so it's a rough thing, but I'm so grateful that I'm able to speak out about it. I stand with my head high because I don't live in depression anymore. I beat it. I can stand tall with a smile on my face. Those smiles that I forced years ago, I don't have to force them now. Yes, I am living life just like it's golden, and I'm grateful for that. And so my mission is to help somebody else get to the land of peace. And that's on my website, like trying to get anybody that I can to the land of peace. Because once you get a peace of mind, people don't realize what peace of mind is. I didn't know. I was telling my mom, I was like, Mom, it just feel like the sun is shining all the time because it felt like every day was dark in my life. And so I'm grateful for it. And Girls to Women is to help others, but it also continues to help my healing as well.
Yeah. So when I went to your website, I saw some amazing testimonies. You want to speak about that and share some of those stories?
Sure.
Those were amazing.
I have 2 teenage girls on my website. One is 14 now, and the other one is 13 now. They've had their birthdays, but they're both young girls who were bullied in school because of their looks. I have a young lady named Zoe. She suffers from trichotillomania, where she pulls her hair from her scalp when she gets really stressed and stuff like that. Such an amazing, this girl is so amazing and so smart. And that's the sad thing. People are bullying these young ladies, these young boys, and these are some awesome people. These are our future presidents, you know, our future CEOs and stuff like that. But they can't see it because they're being pushed down so much.
They don't see their worth.
They don't see their worth. And then I also have some young ladies on there where some was molested by a family member. I have one young lady who actually witnessed her father murder her sister in front of her.
And when I read this story, my heart just...
Well, honey, if you would hear her tell it, you wouldn't even be able to do it without tissue, because she tears up a room every time she talks about it. But when I tell you, she's so smart. I mean, she is so smart, so driven, graduated from school, cum laude. I mean, and it's such a blessing to see her to be able to continue to succeed after what she went through, and still suffering from, generalized anxiety disorder and stuff like that. But she doesn't allow that to define who she is. That's what's so important, that we don't allow this to define who we are. Because for me, when I was going through, I just was like, I'm never going to be anything. I'm never going to be successful. Everything that I tried to do, it didn't work. And I just felt like, oh, I'm not smart. I'm just supposed to stay in this darkness all the time. My bishop always used to say life can be beautiful. And I would tell my mom, well, he's not talking to me, because I just didn't believe it. But now I'm on the other side of the rope. Nobody can tell me nothing. Yes. Life is beautiful. And I still have life ups and downs. But God has blessed me so much, and life is just, it's golden. I can live in peace. I can smile. I can spend time with my children. I can spend time with my family. I can do these events with Girls to Women and just really, just enjoy it and appreciate, what I've been through, and using my story as a testimony now. So absolutely. It's just, it's awesome.
That's an amazing story. Like I said, when I read those testimonials, I was like, wow. Like that's hard stuff to deal with, but here they are, They are. They dealing with it. They seeking help.
They seeking help.
And that's the major thing. It's like, you have to seek help. In my past, I was in a very abusive relationship, mentally and physically. And that was one of the most darkest days of my time. It was just, I was here living by myself. All my family's away. It was just me dealing with it. And I didn't know what to do. So I identified when you say the black curtains. That's all I had was black curtains. Black everything. Black bedding, black curtains.
Me too.
Everything. Pillows, anything that you could use, I had it. And I walked around as if I was the color black. I didn't want to be seen. I wanted to be invisible. And just when that ended, it took me a year or two, and it was just like, you got to get your stuff together, man. Like, this is not okay. And especially having that background with my uncle and seeing him during that time reaching for help. And if it wasn't for my mom and her sisters, I don't really think he would have made it as long as he did, Thankfully, he made it to 45. And I do believe if it wasn't for them seeking that help and taking him to different, therapists and different programs to help with that situation, I don't think I would ever be able to meet him. Because when it's like individuals in that middle age range, they don't believe in mental health. It's like, no, you pray it out and you deal with it and you keep it moving. Like, it's always go back to praying. And yes, praying is strong.
Yeah, it is.
Praying is, you can't go without it. But at the same time, when you're dealing with something as strong as mental health and mental illness, you need to seek help.
Well, one of the things I say, in order for prayer to work, is you have to believe in it.
Yes.
So if there's someone who doesn't believe in God or a higher power, who are they going to pray to? And that's one of the things. So do we not help them because they don't know how to pray? Right.
And that's most important.
Right. And so that plays a big part. And it's what you're saying about your mom's sisters and helping them. People don't realize that's key to mental health support. You gotta have somebody to support you, because if you don't, you feel like the whole world is against you. If you build a strong support system around someone that is going through, if it's not you and it's someone that you know that's going through, be there for them. You just listening to them. And sometimes they may say something off the wall, because let me tell you something. When you're going through and that mind is racing, people don't want to be truthful. When your mind keep racing and it's just going, honey, you do hear a lot of things going on in your head, because I have heard it. And you're talking about the mind is so strong and so powerful. And then it's just going like 300 miles per minute, 24/7. It's like everybody talking to you at one time. The person is not crazy. It's a lot.
The thing about depression is, in any mental illness, sometimes when people see individuals sleeping a lot, that could be the only moment of silence. If 24/7 I have things that's going in my head telling me I'm not worth it, I should do this to myself, Well, then the only time I can stop is when I sleep. What I'm going to choose?
That's right.
I'm going to choose to sleep.
That is why the doctors give you medicine, though, because they want you to sleep. Because, my doctor told me that. He said, I don't want you thinking at all. And when I say at all. And that's when he prescribed me 600 milligrams of Seroquel. And then that don't put nobody to sleep. I don't know what else will, because that's some strong stuff. And then it pushed me further down because it adds weight onto you. So that's something else to make me depressed about. So it's just so many different things that, people don't realize how big their support means to them. They're so busy, being upset with someone that's going through. And I feel like if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, because if you haven't experienced depression, that depression is a killer. And that's just what it is. It is a silent killer. I feel like depression is worse than cancer, because at least with cancer, when it shows up, it shows out. Depression will take somebody out of here and you didn't even know it hit them. Before you know it, they are gone. It's just really, really serious and heavy. So you have to be careful what you say to people, how you treat people, because you never know what they're going through behind that door. And you definitely don't want that thought on you. What could I have done to help them?
Yes. How did you get off the medicine, or are you off the medicine?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I'm off. Oh, yeah. I've been off now for some years. Okay. I had to do a cold turkey.
Okay. A lot of times, one of the things with minorities is when they get put on this medicine, they have this thought that I can never get off, so I don't even want to go in the first place. So kind of talk about that process.
Well, for me, I had to do a cold turkey. And reason being because the weight was driving me crazy. It was just, I went from like a size 12 to a size 22. So I was just like so heavy, and then going from those sizes up, it created a lot of health problems, high cholesterol, diabetes, obstructive sleep apnea, everything that you didn't have before, you have it, right? High blood pressure, all of that stuff. And
how many years were you on it?
Maybe about 7-8 years.
Oh, wow, okay.
I was on it for a long time. I was on it for a while because it was just that bad. And I was just like sitting. But I didn't want to continue sleeping because I was missing time with my children. Like, they were growing up on me. They would come to the bed and want to play, but I didn't have the strength to do it. I didn't. And I just didn't. I couldn't drive. Because of the sleep apnea, I would get in the car and be asleep by the time I got to the corner.
Man.
And that was all because of the medication.
So strong.
Yeah, because most of those medications like that for mental health, they put you to sleep because they want you to relax your mind from racing and stuff. So I stopped driving for some years because I couldn't stay awake. And I'm super proud I'm not on it because I just drove to New York City by myself and back. And I couldn't believe I did that. I haven't drove like that in years. And I drove by myself there and back. But I've been off the medication for a while. And I'm doing good with it because I knew my source. So once I knew my source, then I knew the triggers. So I got rid of the source first. And then I didn't have to worry about the triggers. And so I knew at that point I was ready to take a stand. And then there's times, like when my anxiety rise, I wish I had it, but I try to practice different things like breathing mechanisms or calling someone that's close to me. Listen, my anxiety is high. I need you. Just come and help me, or talk to me on the phone to talk me down, or put music on because I love music to calm me down and stuff like that. So those are things that really help. I think it's nothing wrong with getting on medication. If you have to use medication, I believe that anyone should because it's there to help you. However, I think we need to make sure that we have understanding of what's going on with us before we take a medication. Because the medication is like a Band-Aid covering up an open wound. And it's not going to do nothing but get infected. So, a lot of times the doctor said, oh, you experiencing depression? Here, take this. okay, what type of depression am I experiencing?
Exactly.
Why am I experiencing it? I think they need to probe a little more to find out what's really going on to make you go through this before, giving them a medication. Yeah.
Do you think it should be mandated that you go to at least one therapy session?
Of course.
Okay. Did you use therapy?
Yes, okay. Still do to this day. Oh yes, I'll tell anybody. Listen, there's nothing wrong with going and speaking to somebody that's getting that out, and I think that that's a big thing that we should do. That's like a really good idea. Like go to a couple of therapy sessions because you never know. It could just be you really need to release what you're holding. Like for me, my mom died when I was 8. I was in the bed with her the last time I saw her. Never seen her again. She told me, don't cry, I will be back. Never came back. For years, even till this day, that little 8-year-old little girl spirit is still lingering around. And my therapist tells me all the time, you need to walk through that again so that you can release the little 8-year girl that's looking for her mom to come home. But I won't be able to do it if I don't talk about it. And I haven't gotten to the point where I'm able to just really talk about it. I'm talking about it in my book that I'm writing. Okay. But I can't just sit and talk about it because it's still, a lot on me. So, yeah, I really believe therapy is amazing to go to because you can release all of that stuff out. A lot of people are holding so much. There are a lot of people hurting in this world. Yes. And they holding it in because they're scared people are going to say something. Because, back in the days, if you say, oh, you need to go see a psychiatrist or a therapist, they go, oh, you crazy. Exactly. So people don't want to do it because they're afraid that that's what people are going to say. And these same people who are saying, oh, you crazy, they one of the main ones that need to go and talk to somebody and get that out. So, yes, I completely agree with therapy.
Last week's show, I had a therapist here that's actually part of the panel. And one of her things was being able to reach individuals who don't believe in it. Mm-hmm. It's like it's a thin line because we talked about religion and how to navigate with that with mental health. Mm-hmm. I do feel like, especially now with my generation, we are good to like, you know what? Yes, I'm going to go to church, but I'm also going to see my therapist because, some things I may not be able to talk to my pastor or I'm not able to... Speaking of the past, a lot of times minorities didn't go to therapists because they didn't have anyone to look like them. Mm-hmm. They didn't have representation. And so now we have that, and it's like, we need to use it. Mm-hmm. We need to reteach our community about the things that we have now, like therapy, organizations like yourself, different avenues that we can take to definitely spread and destigmatize mental health because it's needed. Like, we can't prosper if we don't get down to the root of it. No, and that's drag your mama, drag anybody. It's like anybody. We need to talk about it.
And it seemed like to me, honestly, it really seemed like to me the stigma's getting worse. Mm-hmm. It just seems like to me, and it seemed like it's getting worse with our children. That is like my biggest concern is our children. We are seeing so many more children that are suffering from depression and these different things. And it's like, listen, if we not grabbing hope for us, let's come together and grab hope for our children because our children are the future. They have more years in front of them than I have in front of me. So, like, if I can help my children, and I teach my children, my daughter, she's a junior volunteer for Girls to Women, and I teach her, you are not too young to be a blessing to someone. You have to reach out and help somebody, whether it's a child, whether it's an adult. You be good to somebody because you never know what you're going to come across. You never know when you have your children, what your children may suffer from or whatever. Absolutely. You don't look at people and judge them by what they look like or what they, going through and stuff. You have to be a blessing to people. And it's really sad because our kids are crying out and we're not taking them to therapy as we should.
We're not taking them serious.
No, we're not taking them serious. But we're not talking to them. Yes. We're not talking to them. There are a lot of children who want their parents to talk to them. We have a lot of parents who just want to be their children's friend and don't want to be the parent. You can be the child friend, but you have to be the parent first. Exactly. You have to take time out and sit down with your children and talk about them. Me, I can't dance worth 2 licks. But my children know how to dance and stuff. my children sings. So when they want to learn these songs like the Kiki, I love that. I let them teach me. We get in the living room and I let them teach me. That's bonding time. So this way, when it's something serious, and I pull them and I want them to come to me. And then there's things, my daughter, she's a teenager. She may not feel comfortable talking to me. She's very close to my sister-in-law, her aunts. I have no problem with her talking to her aunts. Because I'd rather her talk to them than to a stranger, and get pulled in something. So when she feels a certain kind of way and she wants to call them, I let them go ahead and call them. They don't call me and tell me everything that she said because I want them to keep that bond between her. So we have to create that alliance around our children. So that we can help them feel comfortable coming out and speaking, So
absolutely. Like I said before, my mom was a single parent, and if it wasn't for her and her two sisters, I don't know where a lot of my family members would be at this moment. It was just
sound like my family.
That's how I was like, that's how I was raised. My mom, she talked to me about everything. She never shied away from me. One of my first memories of her and my uncle, I woke up middle of the night, and my youngest aunt, she was looking at TV, and I walked in, I was like, oh, where's Mom at? She was like, oh, something happened with your uncle. I said, what happened? She was like, well, I don't know if you know what this means or not, but he has schizophrenia. He had episodes. We had to take him to, the
behavioral health.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. She was like, so do you want to stay up? What you want to do? Next morning, my mom sat me down, made breakfast. Okay, this is what it is. She laid it all out on the table.
Educated you on it.
Exactly. And it's like she's never hid anything from me. She made sure I was aware. I remember putting his medicine in the little capsules, talking to him. And me and him was the closest out of all the family members. It was just, he had children as well, but it's hard. It's hard to have a parent who suffers from mental health.
It's very hard.
And because it's kind of like, well, you my parent. I need you to I need you to do this. I need you to be, aware and focused. And sometimes you can't be that, So that definitely created that barrier between them. But just, I guess me as the outside child looking in, I look and I see, this is important. This is important that we really learn this because, like my mom, when she sat me down, your uncle had it. My older brother had it. My dad had it. She's like, it's something that runs
in the family.
Strictly, not strictly, but a lot in the men. And then when I got older, I had a cousin. She suffered from manic depression as well. And I mean, your story sounded like her story. So that's why I really identify with it because a lot of things I've been there. I may not have been diagnosed with these disorders and different things, but I'm aware. I was made sure to educate yourself. This is something. If you're going to have children, you need to know what your family carries.
But you know what? Every family in this world has been touched by it some way. Whether it's immediate family, whether it's a distant family, whether it's a family member that was not born in your family, but you have taken them in as your blood, that is your family, and they suffer from it. Whether it's a close friend of yours whose child suffer with. Everybody has been touched by it some way, some form or some fashion. It runs in my family very deep. It doesn't define who we are. We're still a loving family. We still love each other, but it's just something that we suffer from. And every family suffer from something.
Exactly.
If
it's a mental disorder or if it's a health issue, it's something
It's something that we suffer from.
Perfect. I had to learn that.
Everybody's
learned that.
No one is perfect. Nothing is perfect. There's no perfect relationship. None of it. I just actually had that conversation with my friend the other day about perfect relationships and stuff like that. But it's really serious. I watched a lot of my family members, aunts and uncles, who suffer from a form of schizophrenia, and their minds is not. They've gone and hasn't come back to the full capacity that it supposed to, but they're still our family members. We still love them. I have my children. I also take care of my autistic brother who's 41 years old. So having family members who suffer from it it's hard on you, but it's also hard on the family member because they don't know how to handle the situation. And that's one of the things that we try to do. We have support groups for family members who suffer for, who has families who suffer from, so they can know how to talk to them, know how to handle them a little bit different than what they normally do on a stressful day for them. Try to reach out to someone else to try to, help them, because they need support too, to help them to be able to deal with it, because it'll drive them. I know I had to be a speaker at a college, and this young lady said to me, she said, I need help because my cousin is going through this and she keeps writing suicide notes. She said, and I got so frustrated, I told her to just go ahead on and kill herself because I was tired. And I told her, I said, I understand you're tired. You just need some support yourself. She said, yeah, because I feel like it's draining. And I said, it's because you don't know how to handle it. Once you get educated on it and to see what it's really all about, it will make you sit back and go, oh, okay, so that's why this took place like that took place like that, because of, and it'll allow you to handle it a little better. And if you can't, you'll reach out for someone else to help you. So that's one of the things we try to do at Girls to Women too, is have support groups for family members who have loved ones that are going through and they need help, trying to get through to them and just deal with it. So it's really, really important.
I also like one of the things that you have for your vision is to identify ways to redirect negative feelings into positive actions. And I saw in the process of you healing, you start saying positive affirmations to yourself. Mm-hmm. I really want to talk about that because I'm a strong believer in affirmations.
Oh, yeah. I did. That's because growing up being bullied, I was told that I was the ugly duckling. I had big lips. I'm proud of my big lips today. But I had big lips. So many different things was said to me. So I started believing it. Mm-hmm. And then in my adulthood, going into different relationships, I carried it into that low self-esteem into those relationships where I literally felt like the ugly duckling. I literally felt like that ugly big girl, with the big lips. And then with weight added on to it, it was just like, oh, I don't stand a chance. Mm-hmm. So after coming out of it, I started just really like playing in fashion. That's what started me. I started playing in clothes and just got addicted to shopping. And after I started playing with colors and stuff, I just started saying to myself, yes, I am beautiful, because what I'm going through doesn't define who I am, and the beauty runs deep within me. And so I just every day say to myself, yes, honey, I'm beautiful. That's what I keep saying. Yeah. Yes, honey, I'm fly, to keep. And it started lifting my self-esteem up. And now my self-esteem ain't low down there anymore, because my beauty, when I say I'm beautiful, that's this right here. Mm-hmm. That's my heart. And I know my heart is what matters. This here is just outer. It's here. This is just an add-on, But this is what it's all about. And so that's how I kept doing it. And I do it to my daughter. I tell her, you are a beautiful black chocolate girl. Beautiful. But the beauty comes in here. Mm-hmm. Your beauty is when you're good to somebody. Exactly. Your beauty is when you helping somebody. Your beauty is not those fancy earrings that you put on or those cute heels. No, sweetie, it's what you can be to how you can make somebody smile, how you can help somebody that's having a hard day. That's how you're beautiful. And that's what I continue to say to myself every day.
Yes, I totally agree. Like I said, last week I had a situation with my friend, and the first thing when she told me how she felt, and I was like, I never want you to feel that way. Mm-hmm. I don't want anyone to feel as if I make them feel less than, or what they do isn't good enough. Because especially since I've been there. Exactly. Like, I've been there, so I know I don't want anyone to feel that way. Especially because it's something that I'm still working on. I'm still telling myself, like you say, wake up in the morning and be like, girl, you bad. You
right. Like, yes, honey, yes.
Like, girl, you better get it.
Yes, get it,
I've always struggled with my weight, and it's always been something like in the back of my mind. But, I'm like, you know what, girl? One of my cousins, actually, I had told her about this opportunity I had. And I was like, I'm so scared because I'm going to be on stage and people going to look at me and I ain't got no good girdle.
Girl, I say it all the time. Sure do.
And then she was like, but what you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. I was like, what you mean? She's like, you can't do nothing. You better go out there, you better work it, and you better own it. Mm-hmm. She's like, so what? What are they going to do?
Right.
And I was like, okay. So that day of, I was putting on my outfit. And I was like, so what? What they going to do?
Right. That's right, honey.
But, I mean, it's important, though, because even if your support system is lackluster, sometimes you have to support yourself.
You have to.
And even with mental health, seeking that therapist or that person that you can just talk freely to. Just, you know what?
No judgment.
No, exactly, no judgment. And thankfully, for myself and many others, I'm so glad people have those individuals because that makes a hell of a difference.
It does. It makes a huge difference, and it's a lot of people in the world who need that. And like you said, I know for me, weight was one of my biggest things that made me feel so bad because I was small all my life, and then just to go get, to a plus size, and first thing people say to you is, girl, you big, like they don't even think about what they saying or thinking about how you feeling. Oh, girl, look at all that meat on your bones. Oh, you don't need to eat that. All that, not realizing that it's not food that put this weight on me. It's medication. But of course, I'm not going to tell you that because you acting like this and you don't even know what happened. Just imagine if I tell you that it's medication from suffering from depression. I can't imagine what you're going to say. Exactly. So that's another thing to make me keep it within myself. But now, honey, I tell anybody, honey, I got that good girdle from Belts and come all the way up here and I'm snatched and I'm going to be fly. And that's what it is. I'm going to step out. I'm going to strut and I'm going to be who I am. And I feel like I am a beautiful person inside and out. And that's what I just, try to live by and keep going. And I feel so much better about myself. I don't have to worry about no hair because I went to school for hair, cosmetology. Okay. I went to school for hair. I don't have to worry about no makeup. I don't have to worry about none of that. I love makeup, but it's not who I am. It's just a beauty enhancer. So we really have to help our young girls,
absolutely.
Know that they're beautiful, continuously tell them you are beautiful, uplift them, uplift their spirits, because that stuff travel into your adulthood.
It does.
And it's so harsh. So yeah, that's just what we do over here at Girls to Women. We absolutely love it.
Yes. Yeah. So what's your favorite affirmation?
I have so many of them. I think my favorite one is Beauty's Only Skin Deep. Okay. That's one of my favorite ones. I can't even think of them. I got so many of them. I be saying them all the time. That's one that I say every day. Another one is I am a survivor.
Okay.
Because I am a survivor. Yes. One of my favorite, it's an affirmation, but it's a Bible's verse too, is I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me. Yes. And those are things that I say to myself all the time to push me going. When I feel like I'm maybe having a down day, because I have some down days. I do. I still have them like any other time, but I don't let it rule me anymore. I rule it. So if I'm having a down day today, it may lead over into tomorrow, but tomorrow I'm like, okay, that's it. You had enough. Yes. You're not getting no more time from me, no more energy from me. I'm done. Yes. It's over. See you the next time.
I had a friend laugh at me because I told her that. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to soak today, but tomorrow I'm going to get up and I'm going to be over it.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you do that? It's like, I tell myself, you know what? You can wallow today, honey, but tomorrow, open those blinds, let that sun in, and do what you got to do.
And do what you got to do and keep pushing.
It's not something, I think people often just roll around in this, just wallow around this sorrow and just continue just to bring up the past, and it's like, it's done.
And it's hard to get out that sorrow, though. If you don't have that strength to get out that sorrow, it's extremely hard, and that's what I try to do now. Yeah, I may have a down day where I may cry a little bit. I don't feel like talking today. But by tomorrow, I'm like, look, I don't really have time to be down, too, because Girls to Women is moving so fast, and if it's not me, it's one of my girls from Girls to Women that's calling me, Miss Lynette, that I can't be down. I have to be there for them. So it's like, all right, well, now you got to get up because they depend. My daughter said to me one day, this is after I started Girls to Women, and I was getting my events together because I did 2 events within a 4-month time. Nice. And it was heavy, okay? Stressful. I mean, but the purpose was amazing, and I had got so down. And my daughter came in the room, she said, Mommy, you can't be down. People are depending on you. She was like, Mommy, you can't be depressed. She was like, Mom, you got to come out of that. And when she said that to me, I was like, you are so right. You are absolutely right. I can't be down because I can't help nobody if I'm down. And if I don't help somebody, I'm not staying true to my mission.
Yeah, that's your purpose. You found your purpose.
I finally found it, girl. I'm so excited about it, child. It took me a long time.
Yeah.
But I finally found my purpose, and God got favor all over it. And I'm just overjoyed about it. After launching Girls to Women, I just launched Boys to Men about a month ago. And it's just to help young boys and young men, because, you know, men, it's really hard for them to be transparent because they feel like it's going to attack their manhood. So I'm super excited about Boys to Men because I have some strong men on my team that is really, you know, reaching out and trying to help our young boys and our men. So it's amazing.
It is. I love what you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I really do. I relate to it, and it's important.
You need to come on and be part of it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Yes, we are. Yes, honey. Come on. We looking for anybody and everybody who has a heart.
Yes.
Who has a heart to give back. It's got to be in your heart. If it's not in your heart, you're not going to be able to do it genuinely.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So it's amazing.
This Saturday.
Yes, girl.
Sipping Tea Luncheon.
Sipping Tea Luncheon in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Yes. It is. And I'm going to tell you why I chose Sipping Tea.
Okay.
So, in today's world, we don't call it gossip no more.
No.
We call it the tea. So we're always calling around going, do you have some tea? I don't say that, but people say it. So I was like, well, since they want some tea, we're going to give them some educational tea. We need to give them some powerful tea. We need to give them education on mental health, the different forms of it, different symptoms of it, what it can do, the stigma around it. And so that's when I was like, I'm going to create a sipping tea. So this is actually our second sipping tea. Our first one was January 6th. And we sold it out capacity. It was a free event, but we packed it out capacity. And it was so powerful. We spotlighted those testimonies that you see on the website. Those are some of the women that we spotlighted and the teenagers. We spotlighted their stories so that we can inspire and make a great impact on someone who, one, may not know that they're suffering, or two, suffering and scared to say something.
Yes.
So we wanted to make sure that we touched them so much that they would be inspired to speak up, and not only speak up, but speak out loud.
Yes.
And so we're going to Rock Hill on Saturday.
Spreading the message.
Spreading the message. It's going to be at the Hampton Inn on Tabor Drive. It's right off of Galleria. It's from 11:30 to 2:30. And it's going to be great. We're going to eat lunch. We're just going to fellowship together, enjoy. And then I have an amazing panel. I mean, I have 8 of them. They're some powerful women. I actually wanted to be a little diverse this time, so I actually have a pastor on here.
Okay.
I have a pastor on it because I wanted to get the intake from the Christian world so that we could talk about it that way, because a lot of people have questions about it. You know what we say all the time, pray about it and stuff like that. So I wanted to be a little bit different with this one, and it's an all-female panel.
Dope.
So it's going to be absolute amazing. So after I finish that one, then I'm coming to yours.
Yes, please.
Yes.
I'm still putting everything together, so I'm just like,
well, if you need my help, I'm here.
Okay, thank you.
Just let me know.
I can imagine, but yes, 8 panelists, that's amazing.
Yes, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait. Then I'll be able to sleep. Because you don't get honey, you don't get no sleep when you're planning these events. We have so many. Then I have a moderator. Her name is Erica L. McKnight. You need to get her in here. She actually wrote a book called Silence the Noise. And it's about, mental health and stuff. And her book is it's a bestseller. And it's amazing. She also wrote another book to it to help you with different ways to cope and stuff like that. And she's really awesome. She's the moderator for this event. event on Saturday. We've teamed up with Big Woo Radio in Rock Hill. They are amazing. I've been on this show more than once, and they're partnering with us to help us really scream the awareness out. So it's really about just partnering up in the community and coming together and just really screaming out the awareness to really, help somebody, that's going through really bad. So it's going down Saturday, July 21st. And then on August 11th is Boys to Men's Chat and Chew.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, Boys to Men's Chat and Chew is here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it's an all-male panel.
Dope.
That thing is going to be powerful.
Yes.
It's going to be powerful.
That's so needed.
Yes, it's so needed. But it gives our men a platform for them to just really have their own time and just really attack it while we as women stand back and support them, so that they don't have to feel some type of way. And then we have our young boys and our other brothers to come in and they feel support from their strong brothers, So it's amazing. I have a couple of pastors on that panel as well. That one's going to be really big. So I'm just out here trying to.
I'm going to that one.
Good. Come on, boo. Come on. Yeah.
Definitely. I'm trying to figure out a way to get there for Saturday.
Saturday. No, you can't. You're going to be doing too much.
You can never lie. We can say it's a lie.
Yes, honey. I told you this is my. No, you don't. Because after this one, August 11th, then October 27th, we will be ending the year out with our second Mental Health Black Tie Fashion Show gala in New York City, and that is amazing. Here I showcase 12 victims and survivors of mental health. I showcase their stories as they walk the runway, and it was powerful. I mean, it wasn't a dry eye in there, like a dry eye. That's why I do my own eyelashes, because I be crying. But it was amazing, and I know so many lives were touched because they're still talking about it. So that was a great blessing. So yeah, we're out here trying to really just, spread the word and do what we can do to help anybody. And if anyone needs any, want to come to any support groups or just need someone to talk to, something like that, please just reach out to me. We're on Facebook, Girls to Women Inc. We're on Instagram, Girls to Women Inc. They can reach us on the website, Girls to Women Inc., or they can email me at girlstowomen2@gmail.com. So we're out here.
Yes, thank you so much for what you're doing. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
It really is something needed.
Yes.
And I think it adds a different aspect to have someone who's been through it to help guide you. Because a lot of times
makes it more personable.
Exactly. And it's like, I can go talk to her because she knows what I'm talking about. She
exactly what you're talking about.
And that's what sets the bar right there. So
yeah.
I definitely... Kudos to you, girl.
Oh, thank you, girl. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for what you're doing. This right here is setting the bar high because we need it. We need to talk.
Yes.
We need to talk. And that's one thing that we don't do. So if we can really change the minds of people to really just speak up and give them a platform to do it, then we're going to change the world.
I appreciate it. Okay, before we leave, though, I always ask my guests to give some words of encouragement or inspiration.
On mental health?
In general?
Well, I would say the words of encouragement would be to just live life like it's golden, Just live it till its fullest, because you just never know, to just keep smiling. It's a beautiful thing to smile, feel great about where you are. It's okay. And if you're not where you want to be, that's all right. Just keep working towards it. You will get there, Yes. So I just say live life to its fullest. Life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. I'm telling you it is. Our struggle is our strength. See, that's our slogan.
Yes.
Our struggle is our strength. If you are in the struggle, use your struggle as your strength, because that strength will bring you out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lynette. It's been a pleasure
speaking
with you. I can't wait to work with you.
Yes, to collaborate. Yes,
definitely so. And like I said again, thanks for this organization. I'm sure it's changing a lot of people's lives.
I pray so, and thank you for this opportunity tonight. I was super excited about it.
I know,
and I just can't wait till we can collaborate and put some things together. And congratulations on your first event, honey. It's going to be amazing. I will be there. So I will be there rooting for you. If you need me, you got my information. Anything you need, just call me.
Thank you. The world needs more people like you.
I hope so.
Because a lot of times people, when they're going through their own mess, it's hard to see someone else's mess. You know what I mean?
Well, you can't be a blessing to somebody if you're not a blessing. So I always say, in order to get a blessing, you got to be a blessing. And that's one thing I am. I am truly blessed because I try to be a blessing to any and everybody that I can so that my blessings can continue to roll in.
Yes, absolutely. All right.